I know there is no love lost between the Guard of Priwen and the Brotherhood. What caused this rift?
It was 1801. The Brotherhood was stronger then, a strength that made them hungry for ever greater power. An argument divided them, and the wound never healed.
What was the nature of the disagreement?
The problem was that both sides considered themselves the legitimate heirs of the original Brotherhood. We divide up the books, the relics, not always fairly or with consideration.
How did you learn about Mary? And spare me the hocus-pocus parlor tricks. The truth, now!
Swansea told me. Don't look at me like that. His task is to observe and gather information about vampires. He had to tell me about Mary.
Sie hätte dieses Schicksal nicht verdient.
Mary did not deserve her fate. She had already suffered enough during her life. And yet the pain and the suffering went on after her death.
Suffering is part of the immortal condition. Some prefer to lose their minds rather than face the simple truth. Pain will never stop.
How do you measure the...
I told you.
Is it possible?
Vampires
Is there anything you could tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
Aloysius Dawson. Yes, of course. We met on several occasions. With time, he got deeper and deeper into the occult.
He's not the only one. It's been quite the fashion for several decades. The Golden Dawn, for instance, is just one example.
True. Aloysius was a member of the Golden Dawn until 1900. Then his thirst for dark knowledge grew. I'm talking forbidden texts, readings which blackened his heart.
Aloysius war bis 1900 ein Mitglied der hermetischen Orden der Goldenen Dämmerung. Guck mal.
Goodbye, sir. Until we meet again.
I rarely wander, yet it amuses me to converse with your kind. A red river, a song in the dark, the whispers of a sun. So many signs to interpret.
Was ist jetzt für Pinguinabzeichen gemeint, Berlin? So gehen diese Beinsteine runter. Wir sind gerade nur bei 4. Das Problem, was Sie jetzt gerade sehen, dieser Aloysius Dawson ist die Stütze von West End. Heißt, wenn wir ihn töten, würde der Gesundheitszustand von dem Teil auch runtergehen wahrscheinlich, oder?
Ich bin ein bisschen skeptisch gerade, was wir tun sollen.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reid. Can I be of assistance?
Dr. Reid? Dr. Reid?
Is there anything wrong?
No, it's just... Your name sounds familiar. And your face. Have we met before?
I think I would remember. So I suppose the answer is no.
That's odd. I'm certain I've already heard of you. My name is Pericles Baker. Does that mean anything to you?
I'm afraid not, sir. But it's a pleasure to meet you anyway.
The pleasure is mine, I guess. I only wish I could remember when it was that we met.
Tell me about yourself, Mr. Baker. What are you doing out here in the middle of the night?
We are waiting. Waiting for someone.
And why are you waiting for this person?
Because we need to leave this city. As soon as possible.
Why do you want to leave the city?
I'm not really...
Es scheint aber ein sehr schlauer Plan zu sein, die Stadt verlassen zu wollen.
sure.
Man weiß es nicht genau, warum.
Can you tell me anything about this district?
As you like asking questions so much, would you allow me to ask you one first?
Please, be my guest.
Do you like this city?
Viel Spaß, dass du da warst. Vielen Dank, dass du da warst, liebe Arie. Viel Spaß bei deinem Marino. Dann sehen wir uns ja bestimmt gleich nochmal. Oder so. Oh, jetzt weiß ich gar nicht, was er gesagt hat. Scheiße, ich hab nicht aufgepasst. Jetzt tu.
I know we are not living in the most peaceful of times, but I have learned to appreciate London's complexity.
Yes, me too. This city tests us. It invites us to find ourselves, to discover our true nature scattered throughout its dark streets.
But what if we don't like what we find?
Do we ever know who we are? I wonder sometimes. Or maybe it is the journey to find out who we are that changes us.
And what do you do, sir? For a living, that is.
I stopped working when I decided to leave. When I realized what I wanted. Wanted something this city can't provide.
Tell me more about why you want to leave London, then.
I just don't belong here anymore. I had to convince my brother to leave London because I know we need to find another life out of the city.
But what were you doing before you took this decision?
Does it really matter anymore? Considering the past seems so pointless to me. I have lived in this city all my life, and now I think it's over.
Who are you waiting for? I'm sure he has a name.
I really can't answer that question, since I don't know that person.
And why is that?
This person is mostly my brother's acquaintance. I don't even know his real name. Only that this man could help us leave this city once and for all.
But why would you need this person's help to leave London anyway?
Well, I thought we should have left this cursed place already, but my brother convinced me to stay a while longer, and here we are.
Okay.
What can you tell me about Aloysius Dawson?
I've heard this is a man who has searched for his place in the world for a long time. I hope he found it.
Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
Hier haben wir ihn. Das ist der Bruder.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid. Do you need my help?
Yes, please. Would you be kind enough to tell me what the time is?
That's all you need to know.
Well, is it not important to know? As important as where you are? Or who you are?
I suppose you're right. And who are you then, sir?
I am Agamemnon Baker. Like my brother, I think we need to leave this city immediately. And my brother and I rarely agree on anything.
May I ask what you're doing outside at this hour of night?
I don't know. You should ask my brother instead. It was his idea in the first place.
You must have your own ideas.
From what I have managed to understand, I guess we're supposed to wait here. Waiting for someone to come.
What can you tell me about this part of town?
It's the only place I've considered myself happy. Or at least that's what I believe. Unfortunately, it's time to leave.
Why is that?
Because I'm not feeling happy here anymore. Are you?
ganz glücklich hier. Nicht wirklich eigentlich, ne?
What kind of question is that? What am I supposed to answer, exactly?
The truth. And I believe you just did it, actually.
What can you tell me about your brother?
He's older than me, I think. But the important thing is that I really hope I'll die before him.
No.
Grief would just kill me, you know?
Is that all?
Pericles is very attached to this city, and without my insistence, he would never leave this place. We don't often agree on anything, you see?
May I ask why you've not gone already, if you're so exasperated by this long wait?
I believe fear is holding us back. My brother would have said it's laziness, but it's just because he's prouder than I am.
Ne? So. Okay.
The more I think about it, the more I believe it's not exactly a person we are waiting for.
But what else could it be, then?
I don't know. A feeling? An event? An impulse? How can I tell? Something that would allow us to leave this trap.
I'm afraid I'm not following you. What kind of trap are you talking about?
Have you ever felt like life trapped you in a role that does not fit you? That you're not in your place? That sort of trap.
Trap? And you think leaving London will free you?
At least it will give us the chance to be free. That's more than our present situation. Hope, Doctor. Hope is what truly drives mankind.
Okay.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Baker.
Das Loot.
What has
Da ist noch
happened
eine
to the
Person.
Good evening, sir. May I ask you what you're doing here at this late hour?
I'm conducting an investigation about the epidemic in this part of town.
And who are you, sir?
I'm Dr. Jonathan Reid from the Pembroke Hospital. May I ask who you are and why all the questions?
I'm Detective Inspector Charles Albright from Scotland Yard. And I don't find your answers convincing. What is a Pembroke doctor doing in the West End at this time of night?
Spazieren gehen. Aber für den
I
Ascalon
work
Club.
for the Ascalon Club. Here is my permit to go freely about the city.
The Ascalon Club? You should have said so, sir. I must warn you, these streets are dangerous, and you'd better be careful.
Erstmal.
What can you tell me about this district?
I'm the one asking questions, especially when there's a killer on the loose.
Was für ein
What
Mörder?
killer?
I'm not going to discuss that with the civilians, sir.
Oh Mann.
Haven't I told you about the investigation I'm conducting? Perhaps I could help you.
All right, without giving you too much information, I'll tell you this. I'm convinced there is a homicidal maniac on the loose, using the epidemic to disguise his kills.
Ne, es kann nicht der Jack the Ripper sein. Der ist aber hier schon tot.
And what about the epidemic?
We both know the situation is critical, don't we, Doctor? Colleagues of mine die almost every day.
What are you really doing here?
I told you. I'm a detective inspector from Scotland Yard, investigating suspicious cases in the area.
What about the situation in the East End? Why are there no police there to protect the civilians?
I know, it's a shame, but we just don't have enough men to cover the entire city.
Schlecht, schlecht.
Do you work alone?
Yes, the situation is difficult for the police. Many of us are sick, and since the summer strike, most men apply a work to rule on their patrols.
Why are you investigating at night?
Criminals rarely act in daylight, you know. But since you are also a night worker, have you noticed anything strange which requires police attention?
war's nochmal? Geoffrey McCallum. Wir. Cheetah. Wer war denn das nochmal? Kennen Sie Fergal, Puncher? Das war der große. Oh, wir haben nichts. Da war nichts.
No, I've noticed nothing odd.
All right. But keep your eyes open, though.
Wir haben nichts Seltsames gesehen. Nee, das ist schon so in Ordnung.
Tell me all you know about that homicidal maniac you're looking for.
I'm not even sure there is only one. The wounds are always the same, but the modus operandi varies. Sometimes violent and brutal, sometimes precise and swift.
How could different killers inflict the same wounds?
That's my main problem. If my theory is correct, maybe we're facing a group of individuals sharing the same violent tendencies. Perhaps a sadist cult.
What are you investigating, exactly?
I have a missing woman, possibly abducted a few nights ago. Louise Teasdale.
Die haben wir doch gerettet.
It seems you already found my other missing person, Mr. Tadao Kimura.
Tell me about Louise Teasdale.
Aber die haben
She's
wir
a
schon
waitress.
gefunden.
Our father reported her missing. We don't have enough men to search for her, sadly.
Do you have any idea where she could be?
Aber wir haben
No,
das schon gefunden.
but I feel she's been abducted. She went to a pub a few nights ago and vanished. I thought about the sewers, but I'm not equipped for such an investigation.
Aber wir haben sie doch gefunden.
What are you investigating?
I have a missing woman.
Tell me,
She's a...
do you...
No.
Ja, da können wir ihm dann nicht erzählen, dass wir die schon gefunden haben. Das frustriert mich gerade ein bisschen. Wahrscheinlich muss er erst einen Tag vergehen lassen und sie muss rausgekrochen gekommen sein, damit wir sagen können, dass sie...
Do you know anything in particular about a man called Aloysius Dawson?
Who doesn't know the man? I think he intervened personally to put an end to the police strike of last August.
What else can you tell me about him?
Aloysius Dawson is exactly the kind of powerful and influential man who could commit murder and get away with it. With just one phone call.
Goodbye, Detective Inspector Albright.
Goodbye, Dr. Jonathan Reid. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Also ich weiß nicht, wie es bei euch ist, aber habe jetzt nicht unbedingt neuer Unterschlupf, sehr schön. Immer noch nicht das beste Gefühl, ihn zum Vampir zu machen, zu wollen. Und in Gesprächen gibt es auch nicht gerade sehr viel besser, das Gefühl. Hier ist unser Bett sozusagen. Und hier... fehlen uns also noch 3. Wir sind also immer noch nicht am Ende angekommen. 220. Wollen wir die noch alle aufwerten? Nee, ist schade. $672 Schaden. Voilà. brauchen wir ja tatsächlich am meisten. Nun gut. Ah. Sir.
Not be forgotten.
Good evening, Mr. Baker.
Why do...
Goodbye, Mr. Baker.
Ich bin mir immer noch super unsicher. Also, was heißt unsicher? Ich will den eigentlich nicht zum Vampir machen. Ich glaube, dass es eine sehr, sehr beschissene Idee ist, das zu tun. Fand ihn ja schon merkwürdig, als wir ihn bei unserer Initialisierung kennengelernt haben. Und ja auch schon ein paar Mal von den anderen angemerkt wurde, dass der ist halt relativ machtgierig. Ich weiß natürlich nicht, wie jetzt euer Bauchgefühl da ist. Wie gesagt, ich halt sehr stark zu No.
It's locked.
Du bist der Inspektor. Okay. Ich glaube, das waren noch nicht alle, ne? Wo geht's denn hier rein?
Wo geht es denn hier rein?
Ah, hier, nee, von hier kommen wir ja, ne? Ja. Lass mal wieder raus. Ich würde auch sagen, dass wir uns um das Schicksal des Guten.
The Spanish flu is not the only hidden killer around here.
Ja. Weißes Geschäft.
Good evening, Miss Price. I'm Dr. Reid. Do you remember me?
Dr. Reid? Yes, of course. You are the doctor who healed me and my mum. Good evening, Dr. Reid.
Good to see you too, Carol. Are you all right?
Oh, yes. I did not hurt myself recently. I know how to take care of myself now. I'm almost a grown-up.
Oh.
Why are you awake at night, Carol?
I am helping my mother in her shop. It's not easy, but I'm a grown-up now.
I'm sure your mother is grateful for your help.
I do the best I can. But I'm so clumsy sometimes. I drop things. I injure myself. It's a good thing my mother has the patience of an angel.
Why is work not easy? Is something or someone bothering you?
Oh no, most people are gentle with me. But I'm so nervous sometimes. I pay no attention and hurt myself. Good thing my mum learned first aid.
Ja, wir hören sie schon die ganze Zeit. Dr. Reid. Dr. Reid.
What can you tell me of the people living nearby?
I don't speak to many people, except our customers. It's not easy to make friends. And with the epidemic, it's even more difficult.
What can you tell me about the epidemic?
Some of our regular customers have left London. Some others only send their housemaids now. Everybody fears the contagion. I've even seen men with weapons.
Dr. Reid.
Dr. Reid.
Have you no friends at
Dr.
all?
Reid.
No. Mr. Nithercote used to pass by and was always nice to me.
Does he not come by anymore?
No. Mum said he was weird. Always reciting poetry about a girl he'd met in Whitechapel. I wonder who this camellia may be.
I hope you can stay.
Do you enjoy working with your mother?
Oh yes, Doctor. My mother raised me alone after my father died. We've always lived together, and she has always watched over me.
Do you remember your father?
No, I was just a baby then. My mother always told me how strong and good he was.
Do you ever think about getting married now you're a woman?
Oh no, Dr. Reid. Mum always says I'm still a child who has no idea how tough life can be. No husband would like a clumsy girl like me.
Das ist ja eine positiv denkende Mutter. Das haben wir alles.
Have you ever met the famous Aloysius Dawson?
Yes, a very strange man. Not very nice.
What do you mean?
He said he was ready to pay good money for rare books, and then laughed at what we showed him.
Okay.
Goodbye, Carol.
Oh, I am sorry, I can't help you, sir. Perhaps you should talk with someone else instead.
Good evening, Miss Price. How are you tonight?
Dr. Reid, I didn't know you had returned from the war. I had a new doctor when you left, but he's not as kind as you.
Always glad to see a former patient in good condition. It's been a long time.
Too long indeed. And as a token of my appreciation, I'll grant you the best price if you fancy buying anything from my humble shop.
What can you tell me about yourself, Miss Price?
I'm still managing my shop. The only difference is, since the quarantine, we're open at night. You, on the contrary, seem to have changed a lot.
Really? Have I changed that much? It must have been the war and the night shifts since my return.
Don't get me wrong, Dr. Reid, you're still handsome. Just maybe a little bit wiser, more serious. It suits you well.
Tell me more about yourself. No new fiancé? I remember you were hoping to get remarried. I'm sure you must have a few suitors.
Who would marry an old bat like myself with a grown daughter and a little business? As you know, I only fancy handsome men like yourself.
Meine Dame. zwischen einer Beziehung.
Have you noticed anything in particular in this part of town recently?
Other than you coming back to cheer me up? Nothing at all, Dr. Reid.
Carol's gratitude is exemplary. She seems determined never to leave you.
I'm taking care of my daughter as well as I can. It's not always easy, but she's the best gift life gave me.
But she'll probably leave you someday to live her own life. Will that be difficult for you?
Why would she leave? Children sometimes stay with their parents until the end, for they know no one else will love them as much.
Does your daughter still worry you, Miss Price? I remember you were often concerned about her health when she was younger.
Have you not seen Carol since you returned? She's almost a young woman now, but she'll always remain my sweet little baby.
So you're less afraid?
Some things never change. Carol is still too clumsy for her own good. Sometimes her innocence puts her in real danger.
Why would her innocence put her in danger?
She does not realize how cruel life can be. Maybe I was a bad mother to protect her too much. My poor dear Carol.
You have every reason to be cautious, Miss Price, especially in these difficult times.
Maybe you could talk with her, Dr. Reid. It would be nice to have a man here more often. We would both feel safer.
Wir sind doch schon längst so, bitte.
Do you know Aloysius Dawson?
Everybody knows him. He's only been to my shop once, though, looking for rare books and other intriguing antiques.
Did he buy something from you?
No, he left quickly. He almost laughed at my goods. Mr. Dawson may be a rich man, but you can't buy good manners.
But isn't Aloysius Dawson known for his philanthropy?
That was before his brother Robert died in an aeroplane crash.
Oh.
Since then, the remaining twin has turned into a heartless tycoon.
Ein Zwilling.
Goodbye for now, Miss Price.
Ein Zwilling, so.
Dr. Reid, I am glad to see you again.
Jetzt haben wir ja tatsächlich alles und jeden gefragt. Aber ich glaube, das Abenteuer mit der Entscheidung tagen wir nochmal. Das machen wir ein anderes Mal. Tschüss YouTube schon mal.